Hello, Lisa. Is anybody able to pull up the agenda for today? I don't have it. I didn't print one out. That'd be helpful. Thank you, Nicholas. Desert also isn't able to join us today, so if anybody could volunteer to take notes, that would be helpful. I didn't send out an email, so nobody probably brought note paper or anything like that. You could take notes? Thanks, Michael. Oh, I actually do have a notepad if you want to do it writing. Yeah. Hello, hello. Hi, nice to see you, Damien. Hello. I think I'll probably have one here. There you are. If you could just record the attendance and any decisions that we make. You don't really need to record what people say. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. All right, we'll give people one more minute to arrive before we get started. We've got a quorum already. How exciting. I see some lights coming in too.
Might as well sit next to you. So we can see
Thank
it.
you. I think I'm gonna ask Nancy if we could turn the air conditioner off. Would people be? Yeah, I'm worried it would be a little. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. If it gets too hot, then we'll turn it back on again.
No, it's okay. Okay. There you go. And feel free to.
Oh, thank you.
That's my county phone, so I don't care. Okay, that one's still on, so you tell me which one is on. These are gone.
I think that'll work. Thank you.
Okay, and you want more light?
This seems fine to me.
Too much, huh?
That's fine. It might be too much. Yeah, a little less. Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, let's get started. This is a little tricky because we're going to do a hybrid meeting. Let's see if we can hear the internet. Sky, are you able to say hello over the internet?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Great. So I have one idea. We can see how it goes, but before I share that idea, let's go around the room and introduce yourself, and we'll have the people online introduce themselves too. The prompts today is who you are, something you're tired of, and something you're grateful for. Something you're tired of and something you're grateful for. I'll start. My name's Fafs. I'm the president of the Dunbar Spring Neighborhood Association. I'm tired of the train stopping me on my way to work and being stopped on the tracks. And I am grateful for my kids who helped clean the fridge yesterday, and that was awesome. 2 or 3, depending on when. We have an hour of power on Sundays where we clean the house, and we chose the fridges then. Yeah. You'll go next, Michael? All right.
It's beautiful city.
And it's changing. Oh my God, is it changing? My name is Nancy Bender. I'm tired of dealing with the city. And Tim and I were just talking about that, and I'm grateful for ignorantly choosing the property without really considering the neighborhood it was in. And I'm grateful it was a struggle block. So, I like to feel that it's a win-win here. I know that there was a lot of pushback, but what could have happened with this building and the size of the land? You could have ended up with a 6-story, you could have ended up with anything that the deep pocket developer bought. So I'm grateful that I took the risk and chose the right neighborhood, and we are really appreciative of the class. I'm Tina. I'm tired of the dreams. I think it's gonna go down. And I'm grateful that I live in the same neighborhood for now. My name is Nina Shelby, and I am retired from gentrification that was not considered the impoverished. And I'm grateful that this place where we sit is where my ancestors developed, and it's smiling down my grandma. Talking about university coming down this way, we live on University of Stone for 100 years. So just appreciate for coming back. So the roundabout to see on the end that says Johnson. The first Negro Church of Tucson, I think the name of it, was actually in parking lot. So the first knockout, I remember the first great on the first was the first
Can I pause, Nancy? I'm a little hard of hearing. Could we possibly turn that fan off too? That would make it easier for me to hear people. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Folks online, I know this part will be hard to hear. When we get the meeting started, I think we should be able to hear people a little better. So hang in there with us. Go right ahead.
I'm really grateful for tonight's. And then also that I turned into mosquitoes. So I want to be outside during the sunset.
My name is Peter. I'm tired of the gnats, and I'm grateful for the clouds.
My name's Karen, and I am tired of the entire downtown lace. And will be for the rest of my life, unfortunately. And I am grateful that there's great books out there. I've been reading.
I'm Tim Haggard. I'm tired of my store back, and I just learned that I'm grateful that I have not been inundated with mosquitoes this year.
I'm Abra, and I'm gonna have some part of the city. And I'm grateful for the community. I'm Alexandra. I am grateful for my health, and I am tired of picking up toys. Picking up toys off the ground.
I'm Damien, and I'm also tired of downtown links. And I keep telling myself that maybe I'm grateful for it's almost over, but it seems like it's never.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas McCullough. I work for Supervisor Adelaide Hallville with King County Board of Supervisors, District 5. I'm here today representing her office. I am tired of, I live in San Pedro, so I'm tired of all the university traffic when I'm trying to get home. And I am grateful that I get to spend my evening with all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the folks online. I'm gonna show you to the meeting for a minute. do you want to introduce yourselves? You can just popcorn in any order you want.
I can go. I'm also annoyed by downtown links and all the cut through traffic on Fifth Street. All the people who also ignore the sign that says local traffic only. And annoyed by mosquitoes, and grateful for the cooler weather in the mornings these days. It's very nice.
Looks like we also have Jad 48, if you want to say hi or not, that's okay too. I know Lisa doesn't have audio. But has raised her hand. I'll look in the chat because Lisa sometimes drops in the chat. Lisa says hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Jad, feel free to introduce yourself. Lisa is tired of political ads, grateful for son's successful surgery. Yeah, all of us. I'm grateful for that. Jad, you're welcome to join us at any point and let us know. So I have an idea for how we might have done this last time. I can't remember. But the thing I'll propose, and I think we could just do a straw poll here, and if most people agree, then we'll try and do that. Is if when it's your turn to speak, if you come over here and speak in front of the computer, then the meeting will be accessible for people who can't be here tonight. Does that sound good? Thumbs up, roughly. All right. If that doesn't work for you personally, then we'll just make it work. And you can speak from where you are. Let's see. Our first agenda item, thanks everybody for being here, is our treasurer's report. Oh, let's do first. Any changes needed to the July minutes? Has anybody noticed? We didn't have a meeting in August, and so we didn't approve those July minutes. So if there, I'm not hearing any changes to the July minutes, so those are approved. And now treasurer's report, Abra.
Not much to say. We have $772 in the account. That hasn't changed for a while.
But the speed,
Oh, yes.
the speed humps have been
The
installed.
speed humps are,
Oh,
I think they're
fantastic.
great, actually.
Hey, great. Abra, you chipped in money for the speed humps yourself?
Yeah. Few others that came in house.
If people want to contribute any money, can they send it to you or? If,
Sure.
yeah, okay, cool. I owe you $20. I know I said that I would do that. I might have it on me, actually.
Yeah, and Aaron-
Could you pass that to Abra?
Awfully trusting.
All right. Let's see, we are way ahead of schedule. It's 7:10, and we're gonna start with our first discussion. The discussion items tonight are Esteban Park and the subcategories on that. We're just gonna go all together, but these are the things people wanted to talk about. People camping in the park, the playground, possible crosswalk, and some kind of special committee to deal with all of the Esteban ideas. And so I'll take Stack. If you wanna speak, just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll just take a note, so you won't have to keep your hand up. So the other items we're gonna get to later, well, let's start with Esteban Park. Yeah. We'll give ourselves 20 minutes for this because I know it's a big one and we can extend if we need to. Who wants to start? Let's start with people camping.
Well, I don't know, I was the one who was on the agenda.
Sure. We could start with any of these things. Yeah.
I'm happy to tackle the playground. I will just
Okay.
talk about what I'm interested in. Which is not particular to right now, but the playground at both Dianza and Esteban have been inaccessible. Dianza's been inaccessible because it's been broken for 4 years. The playground has a crack, it's been off limits. So no, if you notice, if you've lived here for a while, no kids are ever on that playground. So I don't know what the update, if there is a city plan to update. So I would just say it's like not a good use of public resources to have 2 playgrounds that children can't use. So for a time I've thought like, well, why don't they move a playground? What they do in other cities so that the parks are used for different uses is they'll put a playground on a corner and put a fence around it. That's an option. The fact that neither of those parks has a crosswalk is an issue because it's not encouraging access to either of them by families because it's hard to cross. So those are just things that I have noticed. For a while, when there was a lot of, about like 2 years ago, there was a lot of energy in taking care of Esteban. Then there were more kids going there. But still, you would go and find on the playset like bathroom stuff, like stuff that shouldn't be there. Just indicating that the actual play structure is being used not by children. So that's all. It's like it's a piece of equipment that is meant to be used by kids, and we're not using it. It's a waste of resource. I think that that's my kind of interest as a family member and trying to advocate for families and for those playgrounds, and at least one of them getting a play set that is usable. So just thinking about what we can do.
I'll talk about crosswalk. So a number of years ago, well, like, I know they narrowed the street at Main so that traffic wouldn't be speeding as much. That was the whole kind of point of it. And because traffic speeds so much, and there's a lot of people that cross over there at the park, and we begged the city of Tucson for a crosswalk there. We begged the engineer from the bike ped program for a crosswalk, and they were like, no, no, no. And then they were like, you have to count how many people are crossing there, and it has to be X number of people before we would even consider it. But they wouldn't, like, we would have to take that on. And there were people that were willing to do that, especially Natasha, because her business is right there. So she sees it. She sees people almost getting hit all the time. She sees people getting hit, like all of that stuff. And the city of Tucson was not responsive. There are different people working in that department now. There are different people that are elected, like maybe we can check in with Ward 1 again. Maybe we check in with Andy Bemis again from Bike Ped and say, can we revisit this? Because you saw now that they, put the stuff in for the roadway, like they obviously know that Main is an issue. And so maybe they'd be willing to relook at crosswalks again. That's probably the light.
Yeah, I think so.
There's usually, and I could be wrong, there's usually a state department at the state level that the city does have to answer to. And these are life safety issues, and these are our kids. So I'm wondering, I'm new to listening to these kinds of discussions. Has anybody checked to see the hierarchy of who the city is responsible for on the state level? Because I know they are.
Can you say again?
Like ADOT or something.
Yeah. Living in law.
No, I.
If the neighborhood vote.
I know the person that just got hired to be like let me get the cost later.
Okay.
So that's better than knocking on doors and then having it with you. Things like that.
So yeah, I hear the group coming up with a proposal that we should write some letters and ask for a crosswalk again and explore that again. Does that sound okay? Does someone want to state that proposal and then second it, and then we can vote on it?
Motion to draft new letters regarding a crosswalk at Esteban Park. I make a motion to do so.
And can you add to that motion that there needs to be some sort of reference to the fact that historically we asked for it when it's been enough? So that we establish some sort of property.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
And I'll second that. All right.
Great.
Have a second.
So
At
the-
first, I have a question. At First Street,
Yes.
correct? Just to be clear.
Yes.
and do we want to add that request to First Street up on, what's this one up here? Main up here, or?
Yeah, the Deanza.
To Deanza?
That might be a harder list, because.
Yeah.
That's true. You would, I mean, I want them both. Ideally both, because the same problem happens at first. and
If you
stuff.
don't have to vote, ask them.
Okay, I stepped on Sky's speaking. Go ahead, Sky. What was that an answer to your question?
Oh, yeah, I didn't have anything else. Although I would say that the chances of the city putting a crosswalk at First and Stone are negligible at best.
Might as well add.
Okay, that motion is firsted and seconded. Raise your hand if you would like us to restate it, so we're clear on what we're voting on. Does anybody need that? Okay, there's nobody that raised their hand. So all those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Okay, all those opposed. Okay, that looks like, oh, will you raise your hand again? I forgot to count, I'm sorry. Go ahead and raise your hands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in favor. Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes 11-0. Yeah, go ahead, Maxie.
They were very vague. Yeah, we can just not.
Just plan a big.
Other parts, so the Himmel, there's like 3 spots.
Yeah.
Like, there, and they have less traffic.
Where's that?
Tucson, on Tucson and
Yeah.
just south of Speedway, Himmel Park.
There's also less traffic, or there's not very much traffic now because it's not great, but it's kind of circular.
Yeah.
Like, I don't cross.
No, nobody goes because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Plan like a.
In direct answer to that question, Maxie, I will research the number, but it's like New York City in the rush hour kind of people. It's like hundreds of people an hour to get a warrant, to get a crosswalk usually. Yeah,
Yeah, we're talking about at both Deanza Park and Esteban Park. Crossing Main and then Stone on First, no.
So, so the lead into that.
Yeah.
It was. What? Speaking on your behalf, the lead into it was that, the playground equipment at Deanza Park is not operable. And so, and then we have another park over at, Esteban, and that is operable, but I think what I was hearing is folks are not comfortable using the facilities there because they're not being used as playground equipment. Other factors. There's a lack of resources, to have these resources in playground equipment that no one can use doesn't function, and then that led into having one of these resources usable and then also accessible, and so that kind of led into crosswalks that allow neighbors and children to have access to these. I think it should then venture like an engaged sort of park, as it loses its use, and it's a certain, like, as a park, and then it no longer becomes a park, and it becomes, used as a place for shelter, which you know, that's a whole other very complicated, issue that's, but, yeah.
Thanks, Tim. So you can also review, this is recorded, so you could review the recording if you want more details. So we had,
Has a letter been written to Parks and Rec here? I'm sure. Has it documented the fact that you guys have requested this to Parks and Recreation? Again, because there's going to be the State Department of Parks and Recreation that's going to hold them accountable, because these are all life safety issues.
Mhm.
And so there's a lawsuit. So someone's going to sue the city of Tucson, but they don't stop there. They
Yeah.
go up to the state. So the state's going to enforce it with the city because of liability.
yeah, so Nancy, when I draft those letters, I'll research and see what letters we sent in the past. So I also heard a concern about playgrounds. And we haven't really talked about camping. I see your hand at me, Michelle.
Yes, I have a question about safety.
Yeah, go ahead.
We actually there's a building next to it, that was once made, it's an analysis center, and I am a police officer in Tucson. I have childcare center over on Prince, but my students go for a training in that building, and there's a lot of vagrants in there, so forget about it. I mean, great, people go crosswalk, but I mean, who's gonna go there if the building's not even safe? And I actually drove down at night just to see, there's all kinds of needles, it's the people living back there. It's a safety issue for, and I need to become, my parents don't even want. And I want to, for my children to be transferred over there to be able to have these additional services to that building, because it's not safe. Or you have all of the people there, I'm sorry, to say vagrants. I won't even say it's homeless, because homeless people is a totally different issue. But these are vagrants and vandals and people who are living on the, who are, you know, on the slide at night. I saw them on the slide because the parking lot closed at night. Is there other hours to close this park at night? That might deter the fact that people will come in the park after hours, and that would have to be, if it's closed, then the police could have, could say you have to be gone. But if it's an open park, and now we're talking about actually opening up the bathrooms for people to be in there. But what if if there are children in that park that want to go to the bathroom, and you have, you know, all kinds of people coming, that's a safety issue. So deeper than getting hit by a car is a child. And those would happen in the bathrooms, you know, as now children. The parks are for the families and the children, and so we need to be maintaining that. And I'm going to say that, you know, would we allow that within the park? No, we're not allowing that in the parks. But we're allowing that over here as well, they need a place to be. No. That is a park that is for families, and that's where people be living and leading to doing that.
They're not going to tell you the tax is different. And it is. Yeah, and it all kind of all boils down to the way things are funded.
Is there anybody that hasn't spoken yet that would like to contribute anything to this topic?
Had a meeting there last neighbors, Dunbar Spring and so we also had some other stakeholders there at the meeting where city manager and the captain on the West Division, along with Splitter Collective and some other folks there. We all kind of met to talk about some of the issues happening there. And so the city is working on a plan to find housing for the folks that are there. Our park hours posted when COVID hit, there were restrictions that were lifted for people to be able to stay in place. And so with the increasing numbers of people losing their houses during COVID and during the pandemic, you know, like the numbers kept growing and people needed to find a place to stay. And so we asked PD to stand down from evicting people in certain areas, because that only means that they're going to be moved to a different park. And they're just going to keep moving around without ever really finding a solution. And so while maybe it'll give you peace of mind in this area, we're putting it in somebody else's yard, and then it's going to come back to our yard, and it's just going to be a cycle that never ends. And so the way that our office is looking at it is that we need to find a sustainable solution, which is finding people housing. And right now we're working on getting some more beds and some more areas that can remove them if they'd like to be removed from the park into housing. There's those who don't want to be removed, but we're working on making sure that once folks are at the park anymore, that we're able to know that there's no campsite. So yeah, parks are for neighbors and families, but they're also for other folks to use. And so bathrooms are going to be accessible. But yeah, we don't want folks to be, you know, using the parks for their home, because other families also use them. And so I can definitely bring up the playgrounds not, like not functioning, and that's something else that we can add to the list of concerns with Esteban Park. And so, yeah, so that is something that we've heard, and we're trying to work on it on our side, but it's a citywide plan. I mean, it's happening in Park Hill, and there's gonna be more coming, so I can definitely take down some of the information that you did. And then regarding the crosswalk, congratulations on voters passing Prop 411, because now there's tax money that, funneling into the school little bucket that will be working on the streets. And so stuff like crosswalks and neighborhood streets and, like sidewalks, all the cool stuff that we need so that we can have walkable neighborhoods starting to be funded. I would say you can start talking to application now, if that's what the neighborhood wants, and like for petitions, stuff that needs to be signed. We can get all of that like in a row, so that by the time that the bond oversight committee comes back to mayor and council with their list of neighborhoods they need to get to, we already have our stuff lined up, ready to go. And so that's something that we can start planning for. We haven't heard back from the bond oversight committee yet, so they're the ones that are going to decide how the rollout plan happens, like it's a 10-year phase, the 10-year plan, so it's gonna be by phases. And just the sooner that we have like all of our stuff turned in, by the time that like your neighborhood's ready, we have it all ready to go.
Okay.
That's cool. They all work on something.
Great. I'll work with you, Flora, and just see what petitions or what things we would,
Yeah,
who we
yeah.
could write that letter to. All right, sounds good. We've got a few more minutes budgeted for this topic. Maxie, I see your hand. And then let's think about if there's any other action we want to take. We could write a letter. I know that Flora's from Ward 1 and Nicholas is from District 5. So they're hearing this feedback, but we could also write a letter if we wanted to, that if we had some specific ideas. Anyway, Maxie, go ahead. Okay.
So I've gone to the park meeting the other day. City manager involved as well. So one of the things that came from I heard is, so again, the one house situation is a complicated, bigger issue than Esteban Park. That's, so it's, getting the down Esteban Park is not a solution that may clean up Esteban Park, and so we want bigger solutions and bigger solutions for. I don't think the city of Tucson, the community, this having this issue, and so I think it's part of the best place to, but it's not about that much. It's the drug use sort of drug use and are exactly the same thing, but I think they can start running together, and sometimes or can be preyed upon and stuff. So that's my bigger concern. In that meeting, some people from Barrio Anita had referenced some houses along in that neighborhood are catering to the drug element of the folks hanging out in Esteban Park. And I see my son was over on that's more like all of that. And you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's a fair observation.
Damien, can I just pause you? Yeah. We're getting a request from the internet to have people come back over to the mic, so it's really hard for them to hear, so if you put them.
What's up, Sky? Lisa. No, my comment was just building off here that, you know, there is a drug issue in addition to a homelessness issue in some of these parks. And so I think that should be addressed and acknowledged in solutions.
Talk about balance, because it's like, no one is trying to, it's like the parks become about. Is the issue is like parks are multi-use, they cater to a multitude of people, they do all over. And no one is using the park because of the drug use, it's not, you know, and that, so it's like, you can't walk your dog, you can't walk your baby, you can't go to the play set, you can't. Yeah, businesses are being impeded, there's like, I don't know if the football team is practicing there anymore, yeah. So, I mean, the last time that I went to that park, I had to ask people to get off of the play set and they didn't. So it's like, well, this is not accessible anymore to anyone. So I think that's where it's like, I don't think we're trying to be insensitive. I think like if the community was asked for a fund for people, they would provide services. It's just about sharing the space at this point. So I don't know. I think that there's like a distinction there that needs to be clarified, that it should be accessible to multiple people.
I'm gonna call on myself with this one. One issue I see at the park is that the only place to sit that isn't on the ground, that is in shade, is on the playground. And so we've had the Salvation Army move in across the street, which is a institution that provides services to people experiencing homelessness. We have the Caridad Soup Kitchen, which is 1 block away. And that's essentially the only public space besides outside of my house where people can sit. And so maybe something we could ask the city for is some shade, some seating for people to sit and rest while they're waiting, because they can't even get into the Salvation Army until, I don't know what it is, 5 p.m. or something like that. There could be some resources that would get people off the playground. One idea.
I think that would be like a good example of letter for the neighborhoods, right? Type of investments that residents want to know that neighbors are okay with, and that's kind of like the we want to see there.
Mhm.
So a letter saying that that's the neighbor's want. I do remember bringing that up about a year ago. Real negativity. Having space for let's call homeless or unhoused or whatever, but yeah, some people are very resistant. And so I don't know how, I mean, I think it's be on board with my.
Okay. So maybe it would make sense for us to table that motion and talk about it over the list this month and see. Does that sound good? Okay.
And I mean, it is a park, it's a public space, you wouldn't have to call it, you know, like an area for people to spend. It would be a community space, you know, people can use it for parks, people can use it for hanging out.
Yeah. Excellent, thank you. So we've gone 25 minutes on this topic, so I'd like us to move on to the next one unless anybody has anything pressing. Okay. Great. Our next topic is a fall celebration in mesquite milling. Gail and Nancy brought this up. Do you want to talk about that?
I didn't do
Nancy?
that, Gail did that.
Yeah, but you
But
chimed
she
in.
knows I've been- I went to one a couple years ago.
Do you want to come join us on the mic over here so people can hear? Thank you so much.
Okay, Gail did this to me. So, it's been too long since I've been to one, and this community center is open to this neighborhood. You just have to let me know dates and what's involved, and if we're not booked with something else, this is always a go-to for the community. I just don't know enough about it.
Love it. Thank you.
And I'm gonna bring, next time we do this, if we do it, I've got handheld microphones. Instead of people having to get up,
Uh-huh.
pass the mic.
All right. I love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nancy. Let's not take a vote on that.